us. But before starting, we have to run for ICI motto. So please, I am requesting you all to put your hand on your heart. And Vinayji, please.
Yaesha supteshu jagrati. Yaesha supteshu jagrati. Kamam 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 pursho nirvimanaha tadeva shukram tada brahma tadeva amritamuchyate tasmin lokaha shataha sarve tadunatyati kaschan etadvaita
Thank you, Vinayji. So we have our learned chairman, energetic chairman, CA Murtuja Kanchwala sir with us. So sir, may I request you to share some your word of wisdom with us, sir, please.
Thank you, Pinky madam. Good evening to all the participants. I welcome everyone to this program on insurance industry. At the outset, let me thank CA Sunil Agrawal ji, CFO of LIC. Sunil ji, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and joining us today to share your knowledge with all the participants. Thank you. Let me also welcome all the stalwarts, the moderator for today, Sundar. I know him for many years, almost more than 2 decades, and he's been supportive when it comes to institute programs on a regular basis. Thank you very much. Thank you. We also have with us CA Sunil, Basutkar, CA Ganesh, Iyer, and CA Venkatraman. So as panelist, I welcome all of you, sir, today to the panel. Thank you for accepting our invitation. I'm given to understand one of the panelists, Delzar Jivasa, is not keeping well. So I think he may not be able to join us today.
Sir, I have requested one more panelist to attend in his place. I think he will join in a few moments, hopefully. Yeah.
Thank you. Extremely grateful, Sundarji. Thank you. I also would like to thank the Vice Chairman of the Members in Industry Committee, Pinky Kedia. She takes so much of efforts, and every month we are doing one industry program. And friends, today the insurance industry again is getting so vast and so diverse. I thought insurance was insurance, but now we are saying no, life is separate, non-life is separate. Then in non-life, whether it is property or whether it is employee or whether it is health or whether it is X or whether it is Y, then whether it is an insurance provider or whether it is a TPA or whether it is a fintech company who is just maybe coordinating and providing everything. So I think so many different type of players which are coming into it, and the whole ecosystem is changing dramatically. And as a statutory auditor, I need to understand the whole insurance industry better. As an internal auditor, if I were to do the process audit of the claims or X or Y, then again I need to see that how the proposals were reviewed or sanctioned or how the claims were done or X were settled. Okay. And even if I'm in a large corporate in the finance function, then whether should I take an insurance policy for my employees or mediclaim? And if I take a mediclaim, if everything has to be allowed, the premium will go up maybe double. But if I say, okay, some disallowances, the premium can come down drastically. So what is that cost benefit analysis? Where do I make a balance and how do I agree that, okay, I'll go ahead with so-and-so? And which provider to go to? So it is endless. When the claims happen, how do you claim? So that is there. And similarly, when you talk about insurance of the property, plant, equipment, again, what records are required? Because if you don't have the records, you can take a policy, you can take the premium, but ultimately at the time of claim, if you can't produce a record, then what is the use? You will not get the claims. And if you go on, there can be a keyman insurance, there can be a cash in transit insurance. And for stock or inventory insurance, again, which warehouse you covered, how much stock at which location, X, Y, Z. So the complications are like never ending. And maybe there is so much to learn, so much to learn. And I'm sure today's day, with all 6 of them here, experts in insurance industry, it is going to be a treat to listen to them. I am sure we can take lots of notes. And I request everyone that whatever queries come to your mind, you can keep posting into the chat box, as Sunil ji also covered this subject. And when he finishes, we can ask him the questions. And then the balance again, we can ask the moderator and the panelists as they complete. So to the participants, please keep posting the questions. Let us try to get as many answers as possible to the query. One other thing before I hand over back to Pinky, for the last 2 years, all presentations and all recordings of all these programs are available on WRC website. We'll upload within 72 hours. So anyone who wants to listen into Sunilji's session again can always download and listen into it, so that the important things are not missed out. And even the panel, you can always listen out, so that what were the questions that Sundarji asked and who answered what and how did they cover it. So recordings will be available, you can download. With that, thank you for joining. To all the experts also, faculties today, thank you for your time. And thanks to all the participants. And I am handing it over back to Pinky, madam. Thank you, madam. Over to you.
Thank you, sir, for your word of wisdom and for your encouragement. Because of your encouragement, we can do well. So please keep encouraging us. And now, as Sunil ji is very busy because there is some finance department person is in their office, so I don't want to waste his more time. I want to take the opportunity to introduce CA Sunil Agrawal ji. I see he's CFO in LIC, and he is DISA qualified, FFD qualified, public finance and government accounting certification he has done. He has participated in various professional training program. Also, he was a part of funding team of 2 large private sector life insurance company, ICICI Prudential Life Insurance and Reliance Nippon Life Insurance. Sunil ji was the CFO for about 9 years at Reliance Nippon Life Insurance and was the key participant in the 2 FDI transactions between Reliance Capital and Nippon Life Insurance of Japan. He was a part of the board investment committee and invited to the audit committee board meetings with profit committee meeting and other high level meetings. He has worked on preparation of IPO for Reliance Life Insurance during 2009, which was subsequently abandoned. Sunil has been the part of the insurance industry in India since 2000. He is a growth-oriented professional with decade of experience in planning, strategy, finance, corporate governance, compliance, statutory and internal audit, taxation, process automation, business development, and due diligence. He has actively participated in various transformational initiatives. He also holds various awards and recognition for successful implementing Six Sigma and quality project, and has also won the Quality Council of India, Government of India, DISA National Award in April 2012. Sunil has been a part of the following international engagement like Asian Life Insurance Company program organized by Nippon Life Tokyo and Cathay Life Taiwan during October 2015. He is a key member of the SOX project team at Prudential Life Malaysia that was responsible to identify and comply with the requirement of Sarbanes-Oxley Act in 2004. So his profile is quite very impressive, and he is working during since last 20 years in insurance industry. So welcome, Sunil ji. We are fortunate we are here to hear you.
Thank you.
So, sir, you can take the dais, sir, please.
Respected dignitaries on the screen, I can't say on the dais, and other professional colleagues and friends, very good evening to all of you. It is really a pleasure to be here and share with you some of the thoughts on a very important topic on healthcare. I think in the recent past, due to pandemic and other issues that were going around the world, I think healthcare has suddenly caught up attention of everyone. So now people have started understanding the importance of healthcare and health insurance related aspects. So I think digitization of healthcare will only be adding to the penetration which is missing in our country. And I think digitization initiatives in this sector will go a long way. And I think even the regulator and the government is taking a lot of initiatives to encourage expansion of healthcare and health insurance sector in the country. I've been part of many discussions with the regulators and stuff, and I think they are very keen on introducing a lot of easy to do business kind of a stuff for increasing the penetration of insurance in the country. And I think digitization is one of the low cost model by way of which not only the penetration can be increased, but it also gives a lot of comfort. It's a very good fraud management tool because in an unorganized sector and country like ours, I think intelligent database of healthcare related data is very, very important. And I think digitization will play a very important role in gathering this data, and it will help the risk management team, especially to look at the data and to have some of the practices in place. Just to share with you, I may not be able to continue for long in this session because I have to join the DFS team in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But I'll quickly run you through my thoughts on this front, and I think then you'll have to excuse me for this. So, as I said, digitization is the key, and a lot of health insurance or non-life insurance companies are coming up purely on digitization platform, basically with the intention to provide a huge penetration and a low-cost distribution model, as I said. The importance of health is only going up in India, and I think it has gone beyond tax benefits now. The basic issues that the insured faces is he's not knowing about what is the kind of medical bill he's going to get for a particular medical treatment. The hospital, when he goes to the hospital, he's really feared about what is going to be the exit and how it is going to work. So an insurance cover only helps him to gain that confidence and.
अभी सुनाई दे रहा है?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Am I audible?
Yes, Sunil, you are audible. You are audible.
Okay.
Yeah, continue.
So as we all know that the medical costs are only rising and due to inflation and other factors, and it is becoming a very big burden on the breadwinner of the family to really look at the medical costs. So all the more reason for people to focus on obtaining a medical cover and which is also underpenetrated in our country. So I think digitization through of various activities around healthcare, especially on the database gathering of the health records of the customers, will only help the industry to provide a better kind of a service to the insured and also avoid the fraudulent activities that are going around in the country, especially in some areas. I think it can also be a very good artificial intelligence. People can, going forward, build some kind of an artificial intelligence based on the character of the person, the age profile of the person, the habits of the person, the medical history of the family and stuff like that. They can build around a futuristic model as to the probability of the claim arising from a particular kind of a profile, depending on which geography he is living in, what are his food habits, what is his age profile, what is his family history. So those kind of database will also help the insurance companies to price the right premium for such people, and therefore help them from otherwise bleeding in heavy claims and stuff. So I think digitization is the future for insurance, whether it is health insurance or life insurance. And I think people are focusing on that, and we should adopt some of the best practices which are also available in the global markets. So look at those activities and maybe tweak them a little bit in the Indian circumstances, and I think the implementation should take place. I think I will request Sundar now to take it forward. Sundar, if you don't mind, because I'll have to join the meeting. I've got a message from them. Very sorry about this. Sundar, can you take over from me, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. I think it was very useful, and you provided very thought-provoking thoughts to take us forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sundar. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunilji. In spite of your busy schedule and your meeting with finance department, you have joined us. So,
Thank you. My pleasure.
and you enlighten us with your thoughts and your experience and what the digitization can take place in health sector. So, thank you, Sunilji, for the quick glance. And now I request CA Sundarji to carry forward the session, sir, please. But before that, it's my pleasure to introduce CA Sundarji with you all participant. Sundar, SV Sunderkrishnan is a Chief Risk Officer in Reliance Nippon Life Insurance Company Limited. He was there since May 2006. He has experience of 3 decades in various organizations like DSP, Merrill Lynch, ING West, Credit Loans as Vice President, Standard Chartered as Senior IT Auditor, Bank International Indonesia as Head of Audit Compliance, ENY Audit Manager. And his profile is so large, I have to, if I will read all full profile, then it will take 10 minutes, I think. So I don't want to take your more time. So please, Sundarji, you can carry on. And thanks to accept the invitation to carry forward this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. We have a very interesting panel speakers with us today. Thanks to the Institute. I think it would be my pleasure to introduce each of them. We have CA Ganesh Iyer, I think, who introduced himself. I'll introduce you in detail. CA Ganesh Iyer, you can show your hand and show your presence. Yeah, thank you. And then we have
Present, sir.
Thank you, sir. Then we have Mr. CA Sanil Basutkar. I think he's also there. We have CA Mr. Venkatraman. He's also present there. I think one more speaker, Mr. Mahesh. He said he's present, so he's come in place of Mr. Delsad in the last 1 hour or so. Can I introduce CA Mahesh, please? You there, Mahesh? All right, so we will, he said he's there already, so I called him. I don't know. CA, you have to, Mahesh. All right, I'll check where is he. So he's already said he's there in the panel somewhere. Maybe he's registered as a speaker or I don't know what's the issue. We'll get back. So before I think we begin the session with the panelists, I thought I'll just take it forward where Mr. Sunil Agrawal had already touched in terms of the topic itself, digitalization. I think many companies have gone in for digitalization, and digital transformation in the BFSI space, including the health insurance, has been on the anvil for quite some time, with emails being used, with voice being used, with touch being used, with screens being used, with Wi-Fi being used. And I was, for instance, very fascinated with an IoT that actually got the complete ECG of the person. It was just 1 centimeter of square yard. So 1 centimeter length and 1 centimeter breadth, I would say. And then it could catch the ECG of the person, put it on cloud, and a company would monitor the progress of health of that person looking at the cloud report. And then the company would chase the person constantly. And if there is a problem, because the problem would come in the IoT, which is being used by the person, because he has to carry that device, maybe a ring, maybe a chain, maybe a device that is used in his trouser, or a shirt. And that would carry the report of that person in the cloud. And if there is a problem, then ambulance could be rushed, emergency systems could be rushed. And this was the healthcare, health insurance part of the whole affair. And so many health insurance companies world over use such products today. And digitization has done that. And COVID, as Mr. Sunil said, has speeded up the process. The last 2-3 years of COVID has forced the companies to work from home, forced the companies to connect to customer from home, forced the companies to change the whole process of digitization and transformation that has happened. And so the whole philosophy of offering policies, offering cover, offering care has changed from what it was to what it is now. And faster issuance of policies. Policies are now issued in 5 minutes to 10 minutes of the payment of the premium by, say, a credit card online. And then you do online video assurance of the customer, online underwriting, and then online issuance of policies. Of course, this is the fastest. And then there are also the various processes to that, depending on the profile of the customer, risk profile of the company, efficiency, etc., etc., etc. So there are various ways in which companies offer such services and using devices, using latest technology, processes, people. So all the three are important: people, process, technology, because it just technology doesn't work unless the company is in a position to efficiently transform the technology into visualized processes, into visualized applications, and the way and the manner in which it is used. So that's the digitization that has happened in insurance and healthcare. And healthcare can be provided by touch, by feel, using IoT devices, using latest technology devices, connecting with the service providers. And of course, regulators are on the anvil to make it more and more free, more and more transparent, more and more data-oriented, more and more analytic-oriented, and ensuring that service is offered efficiently to the ultimate customer. So that's the kind of emphasis that is put on service to customers by a regulator today. And as we speak, there are so many changes that are being planned, and analytics is going to be a very important part of this. I remember using analytics in the life insurance space, also in health insurance space. So analytics would help to identify what are the problem zones, what are the problems that is there in the customer occupation, what are the problems there in the products, what are the problems in the health pattern of that place or location where that customer is located, and also many other aspects, such as who has prompted the customer to purchase, what are the ramifications there in terms of what are the various ways and means in which customer is connected, etc., etc. So given that there are ways to connect customers digitally, these services also have changed digitally. The services that companies offer in terms of the healthcare or health protection that a customer requires, that has also undergone changes. And so transformation is fast cropped up. And to a KBC question, who has prompted digitalization and digital transformation? Is it the CEO? Is it the board? Is it the CTO? And one of the choices offered was COVID. And then many people chose COVID over the other choices. Of course, what I'm suggesting is a joke, but COVID has fastened or hastened the digital transformation because of the need to connect the customer speedily and efficiently. And so this is the phase that we are in, and we are very eminent panelists to help us identify how we can connect with the customers efficiently using technology in a transformative manner, and then combining that with people process. This doesn't mean that manual medical checkups are not there. This doesn't mean that manual processes are not there. This doesn't mean manual checks that require to be done in terms of investigation not there. All works together because it's a risk profile oriented function, and based on risks, we need to combine process technology people to speedily touch point with various service offerings and also various kind of customers, and also use risk in an analytical manner so that you're in touch with the latest. And that's the whole advantage of digitization. Digitization also has put India in the front run. I think we are in the top 10 already in the world And many companies in the world are now interested to join this, and more so with the recent hearing of the regulatory transformation that's already happening. Some of it has already happened, some of it is on the thought process, some of it is in the decision-making mode, some of it is on the strategization mode. And I think changes would happen in the next 2 months or 3 months or so. So this is the phase that we are in. And I believe that 41% of the households have health insurance today. I'm sure this would have to be increased to 90, 100. 100 is a dream, but even if we bring it up to double of what it is, say 82% or 83%, I think the company would have done a tremendous job. And I believe the current regulator is thinking or visualizing to convert the 41 to 82, or at least double the density of insurance coverage. And so with this, I would now introduce the panelists who are with us. I think I would start from the right, Mr. Venkatraman. Mr. Venkatraman started his career in insurance industry in 1987, and with United India Assurance Company Limited, and served as a company secretary from 2009 till 2018 as well. He was associated with the investment functions from 2000 to 2017, and also involved in preparation of investment policy, dealing in debt, equity, and other forms of investments. Also, he was involved through IRDAI with the work relating to preparation of guidance notes on concurrent audit, IRMSP audit, which is a system-based audit of investments. And these were issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in terms of guidance notes. And as a company secretary, was instrumental in creating awareness on regulatory compliance, and was involved in establishing an enterprise risk management framework, which includes fraud risk management and solvency restoration project, CSR initiatives, handling various classes on investment, regulatory compliance, and corporate governance in UIIC. Also, he was associated in bringing out compliance handbook in association with ICSI and IRDAI, handled classes on corporate governance, fraud risk management in NII Pune, and in 2018, he joined Star Health, an allied insurance company, as CFO. Since March 2020, he has been functioning as vice president in the company and is currently associated with investment and many other functions. So we welcome Mr. C. Venkatraman. Thank you for being here. We would soon ask you questions. The next, of course, is Mr. C.A. Sanil B. I request him to introduce himself so that we have a variety. Yeah. Mr. C.A. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm the co-founder, and I look after product and technology here at HealthySure. Now, HealthySure is a startup which we started, I think, more than a year ago. And we have been recognized as one of the startups in the country who's taking forward the objective of increasing the health insurance penetration in the country. So we are an employee benefits health insurance company, and we target SMEs and corporates in India. And while, of course, health insurance is our core offering, we supplement this with an entire suite of healthcare services like your doctor consultations, your gym fitness memberships, your fitness tracking, etc., all integrated into one single platform. So yeah, I mean, that's about me in a nutshell. I am a chartered accountant. I passed in the year 2012, and I'm also an MBA from ISB Hyderabad. So yeah, I mean, that's about me, and love to thank you for the welcome to this event. Glad to be part of it.
Thank you so much. So I think questions related to analytics, you would be able to handle, because I think that's your sphere. Thank you. Yeah, so we also have CA Ganesh Iyer, who was a leading risk management professional and investigation professional. And now, again, like Mr. CA Sunil is on his own, I believe, is the Chief Executive Officer of Iyer's Pro Risk Group, which uses analytics to serve various clients. And we're fortunate to be one of his clients. He's also has a comprehensive life insurance experience of operations, underwriting, claims, risk management. Apart from normal processes and audit experience, who's known in industry expert in the domain of risk management, corporate governance, and various other solutions. He's a graduate in chemistry and a CA and profession, and has around 21 years of experience with 17 years in life insurance. He's a chief executive officer of Pro Risk Group, which provides underwriting, claims, risk management, and technology solution support services to various insurance companies and IT and IES corporations in the insurance sector. That apart, he is on the board of a couple of startup companies in the healthcare space as a director, technical advisor for QualScore and Health Atmos, and a few more who are still in the incumbent phase. Ganesh Iyer has been a fortunate member and president of the industry bodies, of which he is an architect and Association of Insurance Underwriters of India, and is also Association of Insurance Claim Management of India. He is also founder and executive committee member of Association of Intermediary Committee for Insurance Medicine India, ICLAM. Ganesh Iyer is resident editor of the prestigious Insurance Times magazine. He is also associated with various education institutes like ICAI, Birla Institute of Management, and National Insurance Academy. So with that, Mr. C. Ganesh Iyer, welcome you. And it's fortunate to have you with us in the panel.
Thank you, Sundar. I felt as if somebody is reading my profile and I can easily get a job. I could see Pinky smiling over there and I was wondering what's happening.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah. Do we have CA Mahesh? Mahesh said he's connected, so I'm a bit puzzled. How come he's not joined? We'll track later. He is the chief risk officer and compliance of Aditya Health Insurance. So I think he got connected as a participant, maybe. I'll check. And so it will be fortunate if he joins us. So with that, I think we'll start the panel. I think, yeah, Mr. Venkatraman, you're there, right?
I got connected, sir. There was some error in getting connected.
Sure.
Sorry.
No problem, sir. Thank you. So I think if you can provide a brief digitization experience of your own company, that will be very useful. So the first question I address to you. Yeah.
Oh, sure, sir. First of all, I thank WIRC and CA Institute, and good evening to all the participants and the panelists. And our company has done a very fantastic job with digitization. That is what we can say, because it has touched upon all the touch points with respect to digitization. But however, the health insurance products themselves are push products. They are not still bought voluntarily. It requires some intermediary to persuade the insured to purchase the products. So it needs, digitization would require some more traction in the days to come. Our company was using email and other kinds of services in the beginning, but the pandemic has given the thrust, and they've tested all kinds of avenues. Now we have various portals. Portals are available for agents, for sales managers, for all kinds of intermediaries, so that they can issue policies immediately to the insured. But however, it, as Sundar mentioned, it is not totally, we have not avoided the physical way of verification. Wherever the proposal is collected, the proposal goes to the medical team, and the medical team verifies certain aspects. But we have used digitization in this process also. It's all going through the telemarketing and tele-verification process before issue of the policy. But this has helped in case of deduplication of declined risks, their digitization has helped the company while underwriting. And as far as procurement of business, the company has introduced apps and even renewal through WhatsApp facility. Further, with respect to hospital, while coming to claim settlement, the company has been not using the third-party administrator so far. It has got an in-house team which processes the claims, and the settlement happens directly with the hospitals. The company has got more than 10,000 plus network hospitals. In the network hospitals have been provided with portal facility. Thereby, digitization has helped in uploading of all kinds of data from the hospital to the centralized claims processing center, where host of doctors, more than about 400 plus doctors, they verify the process and they settle, whether it is cashless or even reimbursement. With reimbursement, there is a requirement of collecting physical documents are there, but still the company has enabled filing of documents in electronic mode. Documents are verified and then the settlement takes place. And further, the company has utilized digitalization in training and development also. All agents, employees, and even including hospital and other intermediaries, the training modules have been developed, and through the system, through IoT usage, the company is able to train not only in the products, the employees and the agents are trained in interpersonal and other soft skills also. So the company has touched upon various types of digitization process, and this has helped in fraud mitigation also. It has helped in pattern and avoiding frauds. And the CRM aspect helps the company in identifying the customer preferences and their requirements, and suitably it has designed products. Women-centric products have been introduced. Young Star products have been introduced. Star Health was the company first to have introduced products, disease-specific products. Say, for example, diabetics products, cancer care products, HIV products have been introduced by Star Health. This is a brief about our digitization journey.
Excellent, sir. I think we needed a very practical approach to the whole topic. I think you provided us a platform for what Star has done and what other organizations have done. We have now the other speaker, CA Mahesh Radhakrishnan with us. Mahesh Kumar Radhakrishnan is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and also Institute of Company Secretary and Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He's a 3-star. He's in alumni of Jamnalal Bajaj also. And he is now the Chief Compliance and Risk Officer with Aditya Birla Health. He has a wide experience of compliance, law, governance, regulatory affairs, taxation, finance, reporting, and management accounting. He has more than 2 decades of experience in audit, FMCG, and insurance. And he has been associated with the insurance sector for now nearly 2 decades, and both in life and health insurance. He has been associated with leading life and health insurer. He is successful in developing teams in functional areas such as finance, risk, systems implementation, taxation, control, compliance, and legal. And he consistently and successfully demonstrated leadership quality by developing functions from infancy to make it a robust system-driven function in various organizations he was associated with. He has been member of executive committee and at positions of general counsel and chief compliance and company secretary and financial controller. He has also been past member of the FICCI committee on health. So welcome, Mr. Mahesh.
Thank you, Sundar.
Thank you. So I think my next question to you is, you would have seen Mr. Venkatraman taking us through the digitization projects. So what do you think are challenges in digitization of health and health insurance?
Yeah, so the first and the foremost challenge is adaptation, because there is a lot of challenge in collecting the health related data. and also a connected risk from a risk perspective, that the customer's information relating to his health is classified as the most personal data of any of the customer. So the risk of ensuring that we are keeping this data safe is something which keeps all of us busy throughout the day. Because if the customer's data is leaked, it leads to a lot of negative publicity for the organization. So that is the first and the foremost challenges which we have. The second is also, in India today, the government has taken a lot of steps, but still I believe that there is a lot of, we have to take a lot more steps before we reach a stage where the data exchange can happen very seamlessly. So the another bigger challenge which we have is how the data is collected and stored, because many of the health related data, ICD coding, the doctor's prescription, the treatment protocol, the treatment papers, still we are far away from a position where all of those things can be digitized. But I'm very happy to note that the government has taken a lot of initiative in this regard. The National Digital Health Mission, where they are trying to digitize the entire health records of the population of the country, is a great step from the government. The government has taken, created the framework. The government is also creating a health stack, what we call it as, the entire stack for seamless integration between the various players, a hospital, the health insurance companies, the diagnostic centers, and access to the individual customers. That has been created by the government, and it is in the initial stages. But I'm very happy to note that a lot of steps have happened, and in a couple of years we'll see that the entire health records in India will be digitized. So that's the few of the things. Another challenge, which is also, all these things requires a little bit of adaptation from the various stakeholders, including the insurance company. So one blessing of the COVID regime is that the quick adoption has happened. So people have been forced to adapt to digitization as a way of life, and that is a very good thing which has happened. But still, I believe that further steps are required to be done in this regard. So that is a second one. The last one is obviously the cost. The digitization has its own cost, which is an initial cost, which is which the companies have to incur. So that is a substantial cost is involved in digitizing the entire process. So, but today the companies are willing to do that investment, because we know that that is the only thing which we need to do. Otherwise, we will not be able to survive in the cutthroat environment which we are in today. So that is those are my thoughts.
How do you think analytics helps to digitize? Do you?
I think analytics will be a ability to do analytics is a benefit of digitization. One of the key things which will happen is when we digitize the entire records, what will happen is we'll be able to do a better underwriting. We'll be able to reduce the cost over a period of time for the customers. We'll be able to engage with the customers in a far more better way, and also fight frauds. So today, when I look at health insurance as a sector, one of the biggest challenge which we have is that there is a nearly 20% of fraudulent claims. That is an estimate. So while it is not stated anywhere, but in our experience, there may be nearly 20 to 25% of the claim can be avoided or can be categorized as a fraudulent claim. So the impact of the digitization would be that the companies would be able to save that fraudulent claims and will be able to pass on that benefit to the customer. So the analytics will play a very big role in what I call it as helping the distribution of insurance. That will be the first thing. Better underwriting, better treatment, claim treatment, and better clinical protocols can be followed. And finally, it can help us, if you talk about Aditya Birla has been a pioneer in wellness-driven health insurance business. So it will be helping us in our mission to help customers to live a healthier life, rather than relying only on insurance as a at a stage where he goes to a secondary or a tertiary care of treatment. So that is what the analytics will do. So it's analytics is is going to fundamentally change the way in which we are going to do business.
Thank you. I think I'll move to the next expert in the panel. Thanks for the
Thank you.
avenues given. move to Mr. CA Ganesh Iyer. You have been involved in the last 2 years in both healthcare industry and insurance. So do you see a point of conjunction between the healthcare industry and the insurance? And what are the challenges there and what are the benefits of that?
Yeah. Sundar, a very valid question. In fact, I can say, seeing both the sides, like Mr. Sunil ji started off with a very positive note of how things are moving. Our CA, Mr. Venkatraman, and CA Mahesh also spoke on the digitization speed apart and how things are moving. It's surely a thing which is on the upfront, you can say. Taking a driver's seat, digitization in health insurance has gone. And of course, we can say COVID has accelerated things, which all of us would agree. And there are a lot of healthcare companies and health tech companies that have come up in the last 5 to 7 years, you can say. And you can see the diagnostic centers, it's become a new business which was not there prior to 2005. Okay, because of that, now the reach to the end customer has increased, sure. Okay, awareness is also increased. Things people are now talking about health insurance. People are understanding about healthcare. We know a lot of digital players. People talk about the general medicine and all those things, telemedicine, video medicine. A lot of initiatives from the insurance sector. They have added teleconsulting, video consulting, alternate medication. That's now accepted as a payout in their claims, etc. That's also a positive thing. But still, I feel there's a lot of gap. There's a gap, huge gap. You can say both these sectors are still running on parallel tracks. Okay, and that's my worry. You can say worry is a negative statement, and I'm not a pessimist generally. But in 2001, when I joined the insurance industry, okay, it was the beginning of privatization, and I moved from the CA firm to a private insurance company because I was told, I used to read in Economic Times, Financial Express, that insurance industry is a sunrise industry and it's going to pick up heavily, etc., etc. In 2022, we are still saying insurance industry is a sunrise industry. So I don't know, has the sun taken 22 years to rise in real terms? But it's a hard truth. We can talk about penetrations and all, obviously, but then while these initiatives are there, a lot of things are happening. The healthcare industry and the insurance industry are working like this. It's a parallel train track, and they're not really meeting. Right? The health tech is reaching the consumer and trying to improve healthcare facilities. The insure tech is also there, obviously, and insure tech is also working in a different way. And that's what we heard our CA Mahesh, Venkatraman saying that how things have changed, what they are doing for digitization. Of course, challenges are there. Both of them agree. But I believe the gap is, while digitization has taken a shape on the process front, right? Like Sundar, you started off saying how things are there, the ECGPs, etc. Again, what's happening is there's a process area. So we see the digitization in the process area, which is there, but the products are still traditional. So with due respects to all the insurance companies, I'm from the insurance sector, so obviously there's nothing negative about it. But I know the challenges. The moment we talk about anything, it's like the risk team, the risk management, the compliance, various things come into picture. And I have been a risk management person all along myself, so obviously I understand it. But with respect to the innovative products coming up in the insurance space and meeting in line with the healthcare and the health tech features, I think there's a huge gap. And that is where the problem is happening. Okay. And I'm sure I've met various insurance people. I've been in touch with them. I work with them. And they're all working. They're all talking. We are all talking the same language. But things are somewhere stuck for good reasons. The preventive, for example, the preventive healthcare expenses, like simple diagnostic expenses, are still not recognized by the insurers. Okay. Only hospitalization is considered. And the healthcare industry is moving up. Like sometime back, I said that post 2005, we saw a spring up of the diagnostic centers. It's a huge business. And in fact, post privatization of insurance, that has become a separate business line in itself. And COVID has seen a huge diagnostic space over there. But diagnostic expenses are still an exclusion. Of course, if you get hospitalized and a doctor does it for you, they have to be considered. But if you do it as a preventive measure, it's not considered. Of course, I'm not talking about the vouchers which come up saying that once in a year consulting, etc. can be done. Then pre-existing ailments, it's a discussion item in itself, which we have been doing for ages. Okay, it's a decade-old thing. There are exclusions are still there, waiting periods are still there. Now tech developments are happening. So as a nation, we know the average age span has improved and healthcare expenses have improved. We can surely say average age span of India is above 70. We talk about those things, but then that's on this side. But on the insurance side, we say no, exclusions will continue. If you're a diabetic, this is what is happening. Suppose you're met with an accident in 2008, 2020's underwriting decision will be still a waiting period of 1 year. Of course, we have fair reasons for the underwriting reasons. As a head of underwriting, I understand the challenges, but what I'm trying to say is that is where the entire railway track is all about. So once this track joins, that's where probably the real change in the country will happen. I'm sure you agree to it. You're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, certain portion I do agree. There are lots of challenges. But having said that, I think there's a lot of awareness in the company, economy, regulator, players, and this is leading to changes. So what do you
Very
think
true.
is the change related to awareness?
Change related to?
Change as a result of the awareness creation amongst the
Awareness.
healthcare and the insurance and the regulator and the players.
Absolutely. In fact, just as I started off while answering the earlier question, the awareness has surely increased, and there's no doubts about it. As a nation, there's a huge spend. So I don't want to go into the figures of the GDP percentage and all those things, which is a general talk. And with the FDI increase, that's also changed a lot of thinking process on the insurance side. There is a lot of FDI coming up indirectly or directly in the insurtech space as well as the healthcare space, where a lot of foreign investments are easily coming in. They want to do something different. So awareness is no doubts has increased, and there's no question. And there are a lot of good initiatives taken in healthcare. Government has done a lot. COVID has also, as I said, has helped to accelerate things. But again, as I said in the earlier answer, acceleration has happened in the process area. Okay, digitization has helped a lot in effectiveness, efficiency on the process area. So health insurance, healthcare, awareness has increased, things are improved, digitization has improved. What we used to do 10 years back or 5 years back, we do things differently today, no doubts about it. Okay, compliance norms have improved, regulator is supporting all these things. But having said that, when we talk about India, okay, so let's say in 138 crores, 139 or 140 crores, whatever number we want to take as a population of the nation, you will read statistics which surely says over 50 crores are now insured because of various health programs, etc. Okay, these health programs are the government sponsored ones, which in the last 5 years, 6 years have surely taken a huge spring, and the numbers have gone up, and we can say that over 35%, and as you said, 41% of the nation is now actually covered. That's true. It's a good stat to start with, but let's look at the parallel statistics. If you look at the health insurance data of the country, forget about the privatization which has taken place 22 years back. Industry has been there for over 50 years. It's still under 5% penetration. Right. So while we say as a nation, we are covered 50% population plus, 35% population plus, but as a health insurance industry, we are at 5%, life insurance industry is lower. So we can see the gap. Now, suppose if I were to talk about this, I'll say awareness is there. It's on the rise in relative terms, in absolute terms, but not as a comprehensive requirement, which is required for a nation size, which is the second most populous country in the world. I would like to say this with 3 simple things. In India, senior citizens are technically not covered. And as a nation, we don't have any retirement security in any form for us. So that's one major area of improvement needed or challenge, whatever you want to say. We have all been from the corporate side. So corporate employees are decently covered, we can say. But the moment you're out, and if you are not really aware, okay, I'm not using the word aware now because now we are saying awareness has gone up. So if you're not really aware, what's happened? The moment you're out, you suddenly find you're uninsured in real sense. And even if you have an insurance, a personal insurance, which you would have taken during your employment times, the coverage would be average coverage which an Indian, a common man has, 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, right? So look at it. Senior citizens not covered, corporate employees who are covered suddenly become not covered, or whoever is covered with the agency force or the digitization happening, trying to make things simpler. What are we trying to make simple? Try to accumulate a customer, try to achieve him, bring him on books. Onboarding is done easier, no doubts. But what is the percentage of cover you are giving? 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakhs. That's it. On the highest side, I would say. And government programs are on the lower side because they have got the challenges of the development part of the country. So all of us know that if a simple hospitalization in any of the metro cities, your 50,000 rupees is gone. Little more complexity and a major hospitalization required, 3, 4, 5 days, you can say your coverage is gone. If your average is 2, 2.5, 3 or 5 lakhs. Let us not talk about the complicated long drawn hospitalization, which will say, which will drive away your wealth completely. In fact, this part comes to me as a passion area, and why I have been in the healthcare side closely is I know when my dad passed away in 2000, he was in a small private hospital in Chembur, and hospitals, private hospitals are not uncommon in India because if you look at the statistics, the health surveys, official surveys of the nation, 70% of urban population and about 63% of the rural population are using private hospitalization benefits. Okay, and when the moment you say private hospitalization benefits, yeah, the number is huge, but it's an official information which I get. Okay, and the moment we say private hospitalization, obviously the costs are higher than any government facility. So what are we talking about? Such huge numbers depending on private hospitalizations. I'm not going into the other numbers of ratio of doctors to patients, etc. So when I talk about 2000, when my dad was in hospital, he was there for 45 days, 35 days in a private hospital in Chembur. And my average outgo at that point of time was 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees in 2000 when I was just a small branch head in a CA firm. I don't want to tell what my salary is. Okay. So it was a disaster. And I remember a very big specialist doctor who was a doctor close to Dhirubhai Ambani at that point of time had come because of personal relations he saw. And he said, if you want to do something good, either he will survive or he will not survive. You put him in Sion Hospital, a government hospital, which is much better. Because if you keep him here, next 60 days also nothing will change for you. But yes, you'll be on the verge of coming on the roads. And to be honest, today, I'm not ashamed to say probably we had lost so much of wealth at that point of time. We were planning of selling of certain jewelry and all to get him recovered because he was on a ventilator. Okay, and today the same cost, which was 10,000 rupees per day at that time, and imagine 45 days he was in hospital, is nothing less than 2.5 to 3x. If that's what we are talking about, and if you're talking about 2.5 lakhs, 3 lakhs coverage, and more than 70% of India not being insured in real sense, we are talking about a gap which is huge. So it's nice to be positive. Yes, steps are being taken. As I said, I don't want to look negative, but steps can be taken only when we accept facts and work towards it. And probably that's where many of the startup companies are working. Many of the health insurance companies are working. So not that health insurance companies are not aware. Mr. Venkatraman is there. Mr. Mahesh is there. They're all from the field. They know, and they're all doing wonders in their domains. So if you were to put our expenses into 3-4 buckets, I'll say we have got the diagnosis stage, pre-hospitalization expenses. Then we have got the hospitalization expenses. Then we have got the mobility or transport support services, which is ambulance care, etc. And then the post-hospitalization expenses. If we put these buckets and see where does our health insurance look into? Only the bucket number 2, hospitalization. Yeah, I'm not talking about certain riders or some policies having additional extra pay benefits like ambulance care is protected, etc. So where do we stand? Healthcare sector is trying to enter into all the domains. Healthcare sector, I don't want to name any company, startup company. It would not be fair on a forum to popularize anyone or advertise anyone. So there are various companies trying to move into diagnosis space, hospitalization space, mobility space, and post-hospitalization care. But then health insurance is still in hospitalization. So where are we? Two domains talking differently. Awareness is there. All of us are aware. Public is aware. Health sector, insurance is aware. Healthcare is aware. But now the execution phase is there. So with all the things being done and expectation and hope that now things will improve, we have to move forward, but with a faster pace of execution. Sorry for a long drawn speech, but
Yeah,
I'm very
but
close to
very
it.
good and good background, I think. For the next speaker.
I want to request all the participants, if they want to ask any question, they can put in chat box or question answer session. So we can take that questions.
Yeah, so I move on to next speaker, CA Sanil. I think you listened to very three dimensions, one on the digitization, one on the challenges and analytics role, and one on conjunction between healthcare and health insurance, and also the awareness portion with a lot of positive hope in the end. So what do you have to say on the various dimensions that you heard, and how do you think things would shape up?
Love, since I basically run a startup, so I'm more on the positive side of things where, we are working towards that execution of, trying to penetrate healthcare, trying to basically converge healthcare as well as insurance. And I would just like to say that from our perspective, because we work with a lot of partners, these things are, changing, things are happening. And for some, it might not be at the pace that, for a country like India, but it is happening. And I would also say that, because I work closely with these health tech companies in India, our health tech ecosystem is, I think, among the top 5 ecosystems in the world. Similar to fintech, I feel that I think fintech, we are the leaders globally. And even in health tech, we are making huge strides. The only limitation in terms of health tech sector is that uh, there is not enough investment happening, because it is mainly diverted towards more developed economies. But if we were to get that chance, we would surely be number one. Because so for a simple example like integrating healthcare services within my platform, all of the most advanced technologies of API data sharing, uh, let's say doctor consultations on call, having that robust network of doctors, you can just reach out to and speak to. All of this is possible within a few minutes. And let's say if any company wants to do those integrations, it can happen within a week. That's the level of evolvement that the current healthcare ecosystem has been. And a lot of insurance companies are looking at these startups, looking at these companies who have created this network. And all of this has happened because a lot of investments have flowed in the last 3 to 4 uh, years per se, especially in the healthcare ecosystem. So I would say that I think we might not be there at this point of time, but surely the future looks very, very bright. At least in the next 4 to 5 years, I can give you certain examples of things that are happening. For example, I was recently talking to these companies which were into genetic analysis of data. What they are planning is, because right on the onset, through your analysis of your genetic data, they are accurately able to predict that what kind of lifestyle diseases will you have in the future. Now, this kind of data is like gold mine for insurance companies, and they'll be able to better underwrite the risks. So imagine a scenario where you are just giving some samples of your genetic data. You are able to get a complete assessment of what are the problems that you are most likely to face, and then you'll also be able to take corrective actions to ensure that you live a very healthy lifestyle. So these are things that on the, at least on the healthcare side, these are things which will come sooner rather than later. And I think the government is also very, very proactive in terms of promoting very good healthcare ecosystem. I think the digital ID initiative, which the government is planning, is going to revolutionize the way that the Indian healthcare ecosystem operates, and this includes insurance companies as well. Imagine getting an insurance company getting access to a complete verified medical data of an individual. The underwriting speed, just it can happen within, let's say, a few minutes rather than the few days that it takes right now. So these are the, I mean, I feel that, India is a pioneer among a lot of countries. And I think there are a lot of positives to take forward when it comes to, our healthcare ecosystem and, what lies in the future. Because I think just like fintech, I mean, we are going to be number one in health tech as well, sooner or later. And I can see that, firsthand because I work with these companies, I work with insurance companies, and they're very can go about the kind of technological changes that, we'll be able to bring in the coming few years. So I think, yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'll say that even I think Mr. Ganesh also mentioned that, after retirement, that, people are unable to continue with their policies. Just like to promote certain things about, what we are currently working on. This is exactly the problem that we're trying to solve, because we know that, employees after they retire, they are without a healthcare cover. And we are tackling this problem head on, and we are working with insurance companies to create products which will let employees continue with the same cover even post-employment. And we are piloting these products, and insurance companies are more than proactive to, work with us and get these products on board. So I think even in those areas, a lot of changes are happening. Insurance companies are, I mean, they are very much aware of, what the problems in the ecosystem are. But they, of course, they have their own limitations. But, at least they're very proactive in terms of launching these kind of products and supporting startups like ours. I think I am very grateful to the insurance industry, because the level of support that they give to young companies like ours, this is something very unprecedented. I think it does. We don't really see that in other industries to the level that, insurance industries support innovations and initiatives. I think it might not have been there maybe 10-15 years ago, but it is certainly there right now. And we definitely experience that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how do you think digitization has influenced the wellness solutions in the space of health insurance and healthcare?
Mr. Mahesh,
wellness solutions. How do
you sorry, go ahead.
Digitization has helped the wellness solutions in both healthcare and health insurance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, say that right now today, it's as I had mentioned, that it's very easy to integrate these wellness solutions within, let's say, a health insurance package, or within, let's say, some healthcare solution. Right from my experience itself, it took us just, I mean, we have to definitely, there are specialized startups working on these, creating a healthcare and a wellness suite. And they are just, enabling everyone in the ecosystem to access their services. So it took us, less than a week to basically get those services on board, integrate with them, and give them access to our customers. And the same thing is happening with insurance companies as well. So I think I think it's just a matter of time that, these enablements are just universal, and it's very easy to integrate. Right now, then it's just a matter of imagination of what we can do, what better products that we can construct to provide a holistic solution. The best benefits of these wellness solutions is that we are able to have preventive healthcare management, and there is more awareness that, we have to take care of our health, because these all of these solutions are well integrated within an ecosystem itself, including health insurance. So as Mr. Ganesh said that, it might be running parallelly at this point of time, but it's soon going to converge, and it will be a seamless experience for certain people. I also I can give a fact that, certain insurance companies do have an integrated solution, and certain startups also include other things like, OPD consultations within the overall healthcare insurance package. So it is soon going to be, I mean, as I mentioned that, when investments keep coming into the sector, you'll see more maturity, and just like the fintech sector, I'm hoping that will be number one.
So yeah, my CA Mahesh, you wanted to add something?
Yeah. Sorry,
Sure, please feel free
just want to add on to what Ganesh said, and it's true that we are having an issue where, in spite of so many years, there is a large gap in the insurance. So hardly, like, we have penetration of less than 5%, and there are so many people who are uninsured even today. And the other issue is relating to the cost inflation of healthcare facilities. So I am seeing an inflation which is in double digits constantly over a period. And as he rightly said, like, the treatment which was there for 10,000 rupees today can easily cost more than, say, 1 lakh today. So that has been the insurance, the inflation in this sector. healthcare. But having said that, there are a couple of things which I just want to, put across, and the way in which things are moving and how this digitization is enabling it. So one of the important things which has happened is, in India, we are moving away or from a traditional insurance to wellness driven. So Aditya Birla Health Insurance was the first company which brought in wellness driven health insurance into the Indian market, wherein we felt that, there is a need for engaging with our customers and motivating them to lead a healthier life so that they don't fall ill, or, they don't get into any serious type of illness. And if at all they fall ill or contract some sort of, conditions, we work with them and, help them to stay away from more serious deterioration in their health. So those things are happening. And, many of the companies now have started following our model where, the wellness driven ecosystem is being promoted. And so are so many new startups, which Sanil can talk about, where there is a focus clearly on wellness driven initiatives to help the customers lead a better life. So that is one aspect of the whole, ecosystem, how it is moving. And the digitization is playing a great role. I'll come to it a little later. The second thing which we need to be aware of is that how we are going to do the financing of healthcare or the requirement of healthcare. That is a very important aspect. And, we need to talk about it. We need to understand, while it is true that people don't get an health insurance at a later stage or after they get into some kind of condition in which they become uninsurable. It is true. But the other side of the story is also that, just to give an example, in the recent COVID, health insurance as a sector would have paid nearly 15,000 crores of premium. And all of them have gone towards servicing the customer, giving them the claims. So this is the kind of money I'm talking about. It is not 1 or 2 rupees, but around 15,000 crores of money has been paid over the 2 years period. And if you look at the overall size of the health insurance market itself, a lot more needs to be done in that direction. So we have somewhere around 50,000 crores or 60,000 crores. The most important thing is, while we may say that there is an awareness, what we are seeing is there is not enough awareness for people to come in early. And, when I'm talking of early, people start looking at health insurance after they get a condition. But no young person start taking health insurance when he is 30 or 35. But he looks at health insurance only at, that has been the traditional approach, when he's 45 plus. So obviously, that understanding has to be better. The second important aspect there is that how the healthcare system, like, when I'm talking of healthcare, the hospitals, the hospital network, how they are going to contribute towards and cooperate with the various segments and ensure that there is a right kind of treatment being given at an affordable price. So that is another aspect which needs to be looked into. And why I'm raising these issues are because these are all real issues which we grapple with daily. And, Venkatraman sir will, agree to my point that one of the biggest problem which we face as an health insurance is, like, people
Sure.
don't come in early and don't take insurance when they should have been taking the insurance. And the solution to that is creating more awareness and also digitization. The moment we get into digitization of the data, and the awareness will increase automatically, we'll be able to design better products for young and healthy customer, and so that we can motivate them and make them lead a better life with an assurance that, God forbid, if they contract any kind of condition, we as an health insurance company are there to back them up. So I think digitization with analytics and there's so much of startup ecosystem and people like Sanil who are doing a wonderful job in creating that ecosystem, all of that is going to help us in coming times. And the pace of change is, to my mind, while we may say that it needs to be a little faster, but I feel that it has been reasonably faster now. And with the regulator now moving with speed, I think we are there in a right place. So that is some point just I want to place before the audience.
Yeah, thanks. I think thanks for the contribution. I think my question is to Mr. CA S. Venkatraman now. I think we would have also noticed that fraud in insurance domain is quite high in terms of the way people think, way people move. And there are also sectors, there are also not sectors, I would say, people who are determined to commit frauds. There is a racket kind of scenario where you have fraud rackets in various regions of the country. And so insurance has always been a victim of these rackets all over the world. It's not only in India, but globally also true. So I remember that, we had used analytics to find out which location is red, which location is green, which location is amber, and also ages, occupation, health, and also lab systems that take tests. And so we have so many tests, doctors' tests, then we have tests of the labs, and analytics throws you excellent numbers. And then with that, we move the underwriting closely to the heart. So I would like you to comment on the use of analytics to, or also in fraud insurance, fraud detection, fraud prevention, what digitization can help and how you used it.
Yeah, actually, fraud detection, it's a byproduct of this digitization. Otherwise, the health insurance fraud cannot be found out with physical interaction and physically visiting kind of thing. Here, we are able to link all the hospitals through a portal, and data is collected. And in the process, we are able to find out whether there is any, even whatever Ganesh has stated, even for 45 days, they were staying in a hospital with a ventilator. Such kind of overcharging or even overstay, extra charging can be avoided. And these type of things can be detected through this centralized data. Further, a particular location, geographical location, where a kind of, as you said, a rocket is being run by people, that can also be found out with analytics. We have got a rule engine that has been fed into this hospital portal, and constantly our team follows up and monitors, and erring hospitals, we take action. Either cashless facility is removed, or caution letters are issued to them, so that they feel the pinch of the business coming down. So they will go for corrective actions and then come back. Even at the underwriting level, the digitization has helped in deduplication, where people come to you with yes, Venkatraman. Next, if it is declined risk, they come to you as yes, V. Raman. These type of things can be identified, and we can really avoid such kind of risks. So the digitization has really helped, and analytics has helped with the kind of rule engines that each company would have its own parameters for fixing the rule engines. They can fix it and identify easily the frauds, and action can be taken at the earliest. That is the main benefit of digitization. It helps both at the underwriting stage as well as at the claims stage. Not only hospitals, even agents and people coming together, they collide with each other and committing frauds. But one thing is very sure, but physical intervention would also be required. Digitization would help us to identify the fraud-prone areas, but physical involvement would be required in collecting the evidences against these perpetrators and take action. That area, how far digitization would help, is a question to be answered.
If you allow me, I will want to add one thing.
Yeah, sure.
I am not from insurance industry. I am the consumer, you can say. So, very recently I suffered with breast cancer, and I visited all the hospitals. In all the hospitals, they asked me first question, how much insurance you have? Accordingly, they are treating us.
That area is addressed. That is addressed with the network hospitals. When you are having an insurance with our network coverage, the team negotiates with all the hospitals and fixes the right kind of treatment charges for the various procedures.
Yeah, whatever you are saying may be correct, but the line of treatment, I saw what they had doing when they come to know that how much insurance I have with me, and doctor visit charges. Doctor are not visiting, but in bill, doctor visit charges are there.
Yeah, Priti, I just, since you're on the topic, I'll take the liberty to add on one important aspect, of health insurance, as well as the issues which is plaguing the industry. One issue is relating to lack of any kind of governance mechanisms or regulator in the healthcare space. And that is a very important issue, which, I think it needs to be addressed. While the insurance companies have done so much, there is a very clear problem wherein the hospitals don't follow any treatment protocol. Yeah, and what we call it as over treatment, or abuse. We use the word abuse. We have something called fraud, waste, and abuse. So there is a clear, instances where the entire mechanisms is being, abused by various hospitals. Unfortunately, that number might be small, but the issue is they make it as a mechanisms to get more money from the insurance company. So, so long and unless this act, the mindset, or if there is no regulatory oversight on the hospitals, it will become very difficult in coming times to control it beyond a point. Yes, we'll take some action. As Venkatraman sir said that, yes, we do have a network hospital where we do have a understanding with them, and, we sign an agreement. But still, unless there is no protocol relating to treatment and, prevention of any waste and abuse, this will be a challenge which needs to be grappled. And the most, the good thing is, we have been lobbying about it for quite some time now, and the regulator has agreed to at least take it up now and, consider the same. So it will require more, momentum in that direction. It requires more awareness at various levels, including government and statutory bodies. Once it comes through, I think we'll be in a position where we'll be able to manage this far more better than what we are doing today. So that's just a small point.
Yeah, in recent time, I think 10-15 days back, one of my friend's relative faced that. She was having insurance of 15 lakhs. She fall ill and she passed away, but 15 lakhs insurance has not been fully consumed. Okay, so what the hospital did, they did cardiogram of deceased person.
My God.
Okay, they called all the doctor's visit charges after her death. They are not saying to the relative that she dead. She is no more.
It's a very unfortunate thing. If I had to,
they keep for 1 day on ventilator after she passed away.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. If you go to, say, countries in UK or some, other places, the doctor has to certify on the efficacy of the treatment protocol which is recommending. He is and if it does something which is fraudulent, the board, the medical board in that country takes very stringent action. Here we need to evolve those mechanisms. We have been focusing on insurance aspect a lot, but insurance is just a method for defraying your expenses.
Correct.
It's not the, always it is a kitty. Finally, the pool has to come in, and within that pool, the disbursement will happen. So this is an issue which, needs a little bit more understanding and, awareness within at the various segments.
Yeah, because of that, needy person will not get the actual help.
Correct.
So with the help of digitization, you all stalwart can come across any solution for that. That's why as a consumer, I'm saying, I'm putting my point.
That is the primary aim of any health insurance company. Finally, the customer is the king. Okay.
Yeah,
it's not that he has got sufficient sum insured and he can exhaust the sum insured in the hospital for a single ailment. It's not so. He should be properly treated
I think
and the appropriate charges only should be charged by the also. Yes, sir.
correct.
A lot of
Even
changes
to-
have.
lot
Sorry.
of changes have happened. Yeah. And
Yeah,
even during
so-
COVID,
Even during COVID, the
Exactly.
hospitals have charged exorbitantly for this PPE, that personal
Yeah, PPE
protection
kit.
equipments.
PPE
yeah,
kit.
yeah,
Even in
yeah.
that space also.
Yeah.
Sir, when
But
I
the
went to
company
the
stepped
when,
in
when I
and
went to the
fixed
doctor,
it.
they charged
Ah.
me 2 PPE kit. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
three PPE kit for just OPD. But in
Hmm.
my in front of me, nobody changed the PPE kit.
Correct. The second,
Whatever they
Very-
got, that is for wearing full day. They are wearing that
Correct.
PPE kit, but they were charged 3 PPE kit for all the OPD patient.
all the patients. So in this case only, we introduced under the digitalization process, the consulting. The teleconsulting has helped avoiding many unwarranted hospitalization, even during the pandemic period. They could call, it was not offered only to the policyholders, it was available for the general public also. They could call the doctors and get the correct kind of advice from them. Many unwanted hospitalizations were avoided during that time. Otherwise, they would have charged exorbitantly. But all those things could be controlled. Even in the pandemic period, people were working from home only because of the digitization process. That helped bringing some benefits. So digitization has helped actually.
If there is a system of submission of medical report on daily basis by the hospital
Yeah.
to insurance agency or then it will be far better, I think.
Yeah.
Because
no,
after discharge, they are taking full 24 hours to relieve
Prepare
the
the-
patient.
Yeah.
वो स्लाइन वाला वो कैथरेट निकालते नहीं है कि वो निकालेंगे तो पेशेंट भाग जाएगा.
No, I'll just, since we are on the topic, I'll take a little time to explain how the new National Digital Health Mission, the government which initiative is going to help in this regard. What the government is trying to do is they are trying to create a health ID for each
Health
of the
record.
citizens. Second, there will be a separate health ID for the treating doctors and the diagnostic centers. There will be a third ID for hospital networks. So what will happen slowly is that over a period, if anyone goes to the hospitals will be required to capture his health ID. And basis that health ID, the treating doctor's ID also will be linked. And what kind of treatment is being administered to that person will be captured centrally in the health stack. So this will bring in a lot more transparency and also will bring better clinical outcome as well for the various customers. So I think the government has taken a lot of initiatives. So maybe many people are not aware that in this National Digital Health Mission, what is the final objective? So I think government has taken a great step in this regard. But let's see, and I would like to see that fructify into a really benefit for the customer and the various health insurance and other players in the industry. So yeah, we are, and that is where the digitization is going to help us. So that's coming back.
They are talking about the hospital MIS. If that MIS is created and shared, that would definitely help. It is coming under the National Health Mission.
Yeah.
Great. So I think thanks for the inputs. I'll now move on to the next phase, which is the claims phase. I think CA Ganesh Iyer can touch upon that. How did I think if you've noticed the last 2-3 years, the claims on the insurance companies have been gone up like crazy, whether it's a life insurance or a general insurance or a health insurance. I wouldn't say for general insurance so much, health insurance definitely, and life insurance. And so the deaths due to COVID and also number of hospitalizations. So the claims has mounted up. And I think digitalization also helps in reducing claim impact on the companies through transparency, through fraud prevention, through fraud detection, and mitigation of excess charges by hospital. So what have you to comment? I move on to CA Ganesh Iyer.
Yes. So thanks, Sundar. And one more area where you and I are very closely linked, the claims and frauds. And I could see the glare in your eyes when you're talking about the frauds in the risk management of industry. So yes, and I am aware of the claims inflation, the numbers, because that affected me also positively, because our company provides claim solutions as well to companies. Okay, so we were heavily involved, and the numbers were mind-boggling, because uh, I have been the president of Claims Association for over 12 years, the life insurance side, and mainly, and I've seen the numbers, and the numbers were just crazy. Okay, and if somebody were to analyze the insurance claims data as a result of COVID and try to map it with the country's the COVID numbers, probably it will never match. Because if we say insurance industry is only 5% insured, how come the claims were COVID claims are 80% of the bucket? Okay, we'll not go into that piece because we're not on the risk management forum or the fraud piece of it. Yes, we have seen very bad claims, genuine claims as well, and claims which we do not know are genuine or not because of the processes and of course the regulatory push of closing the cases faster. So there have been cases where documentation has not been there from hospitals. I have seen hospitals giving certificates brought dead, okay, and then saying RT-PCR positive. Okay, so if they are brought dead, did you really do an RT-PCR on a dead body? I don't know. I don't want to go into that piece, but the numbers were huge, and it's affected the health insurance and the life insurance industry very badly, because the reinsurers have become absolutely stringent and unmoving. So all my insurance colleagues over here.
Sorry, you're on mute, Ganesh.
You are on mute, Ganesh.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, it went on mute by mistake. So I was saying that all my insurance colleagues would agree that the COVID numbers were so huge and the claims have affected us so badly that the reinsurers suddenly became absolutely not to South Pole, and they took stringent stands, and product innovations have actually stopped, their supports have stopped, a lot of process changes, underwriting has become stringent. I'll not go into that piece, but yes, it's created a problem, genuine as well as fraudulent. While digitization has helped, digitization could not help also over here. Okay, on this part, I'll say that one of my clients whom I have been supporting on the claims front in the health insurance sector. So this is an IT company which is tech-based, analytics-based, where we tied up with an insurance company, a health insurance company, and we did extensive coding-based thing. I'm talking about the health coding part of it, ICD coding and all, the coding based analysis, where based on obviously a manual report, like sometime back Mr. Venkatraman was talking about the claims, the frauds, etc., documentation. So obviously when you see a first case and a 100th case, the assessor would not be able to know, even if it's the same assessor, he would not know that the 100th document, the first document was same. But if you use technology, I'm sure Sanil would be smiling if I say that, and how an ICD coding can be done, how an artificial intelligence, a simple bot can be used over here. And we have been doing that, and a technical protocol, medical protocol have been followed. So what Pinky was saying some time back, all those issues that can actually be solved if a proper technology is used, and an ICD code, it will actually say that this protocol is not practically possible, because the fraud industry, which Sundar would agree, the locations which we have seen for the last 15 years, 17 years in the industry, we don't want to popularize them on this screen. So these industries, they exactly know cancer protocol kya hota hai. No doctor on earth sitting in the insurance claims department can say that this is wrong. He cannot prove the doctor's papers are wrong, because exactly same protocol papers are created by the fraudsters. Okay, but then if we probably use a technology, because it is not the 2 eyes or the 4 eyes which can help you, which can actually say this is being replicated and there's a problem. Okay, so this is what this client of mine, where I was supporting them on the claims assessment logic, etc., we were doing as a POC for a health insurance company, and we could identify the problems. Even on the motor side, suppose if a garage comes up saying Siddhivinayak Garage with a risk bill, and afterwards the 500th claim of that motor company comes with Riddhi Siddhi Garage, it will say that this invoice and that invoice are technically same. Okay, though the name, the number, the GST number would have got changed. So practically it's possible. Yes, technology will have its own problems as well. We are not disagreeing to that piece. But yes, that is one way of reducing claims. We have to go technically in a different way. And let's accept the fact that insurance companies do not have an expertise in everything. Insurance companies are insurers, so they had to partner with the right set of partners for everything. And there is no company which is best in everything. So when we talk about medicals, we have to partner the right set of medical guys. When we are talking about ICD coding, there's somebody else. When you talk about AI, there is somebody else. Okay. So usage of artificial intelligence, machine learning, I will say these are the most abused terminologies. So I don't want to say, but yes, it can be used the right way. But AI ML के लिए data कहाँ पे है? Okay, we use the great words like data mining, it's a gold mine, it's the oil of the industry, it's all nice. Data ही नहीं है company के पास. Okay, we are trying to use combine OCR and ICR and try to use last 3 years data, and whatever mistakes the claims assessor does or underwriter does, it's getting replicated. Ultimately, artificial intelligence is based on natural intelligence of a human being. But yes, this is the way forward, a right way. And we have to keep on capturing data, use the right partners. We'll have to join hands with the preventive healthcare and health insurance. And when I'm saying preventive healthcare and health insurance, I'm not talking about insurance companies or a set of companies. I'm talking about the full array of service providers in the digital space, whatever you want to call it, IT enabled companies or IT or whatever. Okay, having said that, the frauds are huge. Yes, agreed. But does it mean that a country is full of fraudsters? Is the country is full of jamtaras? The problem is when we talk about a jamtara, and one of our best friends who in the industry, who's from the police force, who's in the cyber crime, I call him up and say, boss, this is the phone number, this is a call recording, इसका follow up किया 4. He tells me, Ganesh, आप तो जानते हो कुछ हो नहीं सकता, ये सिम कार्ड नल्ला सिम कार्ड है, फेंक दिया होगा. If our cyber crime technology, if our own government agencies were to talk this, that means it's an acceptable fraud in the nation. Okay, India would be among the very few countries which doesn't sell SIM cards at the airport because of probable terrorist attacks. Okay, but we say jamtaras are normal in the country. So is saying that fraud is a problem and not going forward is a solution? No. So for frauds, we'll have to use technology because human solutions will not help. It has to be manned by people, obviously, because I have proved to the best of artificial intelligence companies, best of credit bureaus, that your reports are wrong. So what Sundar you're saying about red, amber, green, what we did in investigation in the RCU, I have proved that what you have said is red is actually green and what you're saying is green is actually red, because we have seen it with our 2 eyes, not technology, because ultimately human intelligence and emotion also work. So this combination makes a big difference, one. So we'll have to do that. That is for fraud reduction. Having spoken about frauds, that is negative. How do we look at things positively? India is a country where 50% of the population is less than 25 years of age, I mean. So around 60-65% is less than 35-40, and that is the biggest positive point compared to China that we have. And that is where the entire game changer is. So if the average life expectancy, which I spoke, is about 70 years, if 50% of the nation is 25 to 35 years, let's say, even if it's 40 years, is it not a positive way of looking at life rather than looking at only the frauds? So we use digital technology, we use analytics to catch frauds, we use innovation to go ahead and stop things. So let's say, what can we do? We can, because I don't want to just be theoretical, right? So like during COVID, if you look at the positive things which happened on the countryside, there were lots of corporates which did not put the pressure on the insurance industry. They helped by buying concentrators, because again, my startup companies which I support, they are in this business. So ventilators, all those things were bought in advance so that they actually made a BCP plan. All those things were in place. I'm talking about even, I'm not talking about MNCs. There were good corporates who helped in different ways. So there were positive things and we should applaud this part, and that is what avoided COVID. The negative part of COVID was the people who could afford, they actually blocked the hospitals out of fear, out of preventive care, and out of the bad practices in the medical industry, which created a scare. You are above 60. If you don't get admitted, Holi ka chutti hai, Saturday hai, Sunday, you may die. And those good people blocked the hospitals. They did not need those beds. And the genuine people who needed beds in emergency care were actually dying because they didn't get support. And the pressure from both the sides, people, the rich people who got admitted got the insurance claim. The poor people got the insurance benefits or the healthcare benefits from the government. So both ways we hit the nation and hit the nation badly. And then we say the COVID claims were high. The COVID has hit things. So look at it. We are not really looking at the root cause. So if the preventive healthcare is taken care of, like as Mahesh rightly said, I'm aware of what his company does, other companies do. As I said, many insurance companies are working on preventive healthcare, what we call as a wellness program. Corporates are working on wellness programs, but it's truly not sufficient enough because they are working on it, but execution is somewhere stopping because of various other challenges in the nation. Okay, so yes, the NDHM is there. NDHM is working on it. But let me ask a simple question. If we say over 100 crore of Indians have Aadhaar card, that can be used today without even depending on an NDHM. We are all in the life insurance sector. Tell me one insurance company that is mandated by the government to say that if a person dies, his Aadhaar should be closed. Why are Aadhaar cards, when at birth registration is compulsory, why at death closure is not compulsory? Is it a difficult thing? No. So it's basically the intent and how we work on it on execution. So as I said, we can be pessimist and complain, but we can be optimist with so many good things happening. But the question is getting the right solution and say, let's do it. So these are the gaps which we really need to fill, and they are not difficult. Simple as, if so many corporates are working, of course, now when the corporate employees died, the employer-employee scheme in the insurance industry died because it actually wiped out the profits of the reinsurers and the insurers. So what if we work together, create a consumer-friendly cost-sharing process? I'm talking about the health insurance industry right now. I'm talking about the healthcare preventive wellness companies. If we were to do this to support treatment costs, specifically when we talk about oncology, etc. So these are long treatment costs. If we create a consumer-friendly cost-sharing process, okay, that is, use communities, use all these tech players who are there and say, why don't we work together and get it done? Your data of cost will come down because it will be a burden, what we call as co-sharing in the insurance language. It can be done at a industry level. Industry is not insurance industry. It's only 4%, so it doesn't matter. Talking at an overall level, it can change the game. Okay, insurance companies can actually partner with all the wellness partners, can partner with the preventive healthcare mechanisms, and in an integrated approach manner. I'm not talking about partner means, okay, how much will I get? What is the commission I will get? I'm not talking about that partnership or collaboration. I'm talking about an integrated approach. It can be multiple wellness partners. You don't need to have exclusive arrangements. All wellness partners can be there on the platform. Here's where blockchain can make a difference, of course. Okay, so that can be done. Identify integrated partners and processes, which are very important to reduce emergency care treatments. Because what wipes out the insurance company is not the hospitalization, which is of course true. What Pinky said is absolutely right. And that got tears in my eyes because my father has undergone what you're saying about hospitalization and the crazy practices. So ventilator, etc. That's what doctor said. Even the next 90 days, he'll be on ventilator. You will not know he's dead or alive. So if the emergency care can be reduced, things can change a lot. So if the insurance companies are willing to spend their bucks on Insure marketing or on some other processes or technology, if it is spent on reducing emergency care, on wellness plans, it can actually change the game. And I'm again not saying it's only the health insurance companies, it's the healthcare partners also. We need to decrease the hospitalization. And Unfortunately or fortunately, I am associated on the startup side, which is linked to hospitals. I have worked on the EHR piece very closely with the pharma industry I work with. So it's not a thing if they see this video, they're not going to love me. Okay, because hospitalization is their business. They have their targets over there, which we don't want to discuss over here. Okay, so if the hospitalization were to be reduced, a lot of things will change from a consumer point of view. What Pinky was suggesting, as a consumer, she doesn't care who pays the money, insurer or partner or anybody or the government. As a consumer, she wants convenience, she wants this. So there are startup companies which I'm working with, that's at least one, where we are saying that hospital care need not be always required. Home care can be done with exactly the same facilities at 25% the cost. We're working on that piece. It's a concept of health on rent actually. And if that is to be promoted, if the health insurance industry were to recognize such processes, so automatically, if you cover these claims, your bigger claims are surely going to reduce, because nobody likes the hospital ceilings. A Pinky or a Sundar or a Ganesh or a Sanil or a Venkatraman does not go to hospital because he's going to get a coverage benefit or reimbursement from an insurance company. None of us care about it. And when you go to the hospital, when you're admitted, you cannot say the definition of my cardiac arrest, my myocardial infarction as per my technical definition. For 3 out of 5 criteria, you should have a permanent ECG change. You should have the LVF fraction should be above 50. And then there should be history of changes. Boss, when you're going there, he says, you have got a heart attack, I'm going to put a stent, finish. Can I say, let me read my contract and tell you this is not valid? It's an exclusion. It is not going to work like that, because I am at the mercy of that doctor. So if things were to look differently, our product definitions had to undergo a change, our reinsurers had to understand, things will change. And that is where the entire concept will come. Suppose you change say that, okay, I'm going to support alternate, like now many companies are supporting Ayurveda, homeopathy, etc. It's reduced the cost significantly technically. Your teleconsulting, your video consulting has reduced the cost. In fact, I'm working on a startup company with pet care teleconsulting and video consulting. That is an area which very few health insurance companies are actually supporting on pet care. So these are areas where your claims cost can actually come down significantly. While we talk about genetic data, which I've been hearing for last 13 years or 14 years from our reinsurers, but that has got its own ramifications in our nation. Privacy laws will come, and suddenly when the act is going to be passed, there will be a Supreme Court order. Okay, Sundar, you know what it means. When we do all the technical processes by spending crores of rupees on UIDA, I suddenly one order and all your digital processes are gone for a toss. So probably we need to not think beyond little macro steps of these 3-4 steps. If we do it, I'm sure we can, with the existing processes, we can go ahead.
Good, thanks.
Sir, at the time of COVID, I advised all my doctor's friend कि आप एक कैमरा लगाओ ना पेशेंट के ऊपर, तो आप क्या क्या कर रहे हो पेशेंट के साथ हमें पता तो चले. You are saying you are giving so much PPE kit, so much injection, so many doctors came to visit and check my patient, but how I should know, because I was not allowed to meet my patient.
Correct.
So, sir, आपकी आवाज बंद है, गणेश भाई आवाज बंद है. I said you have to switch on the GPS on your phone to say that you were admitted in the hospital at that point of time. No, but cameras should be there, na? So we can know the details of my patient.
Correct.
Cameras will have its own legal challenges.
Maybe they'll add one more item to your bill.
Yeah.
They will have no privacy. Privacy concerns are there.
Yes, true.
Correct.
So those things now have to be addressed in such cases.
The legal issues will be bigger.
Yeah.
And
but at the time of admission of and further at the time of admission, nowadays we have started using videographing. The insurance is not coming only through the email or whatever it is. We want to ensure that that exact person, the insured, is admitted in the hospital. So whether the hospital is there or not, because most of the frauds, hospitals are not there. only the treatments are given, bills are raised. So the digitization process, these innovative ideas are coming up, which can help reduce frauds and misdeeds.
Sure. My next question last question actually, is to CA Mahesh and CA Sanil also after that. How has digitization helped in sourcing and servicing customers?
Yeah. So it's a great question, sir, because finally, the entire benefit of digitization, to my mind, should be to see that how, we can have a better customer reach, how we can service the customers in a far more efficient and more reduce the overall cost of insurance. So I think digitization is going to do, a couple of things. One is, as Venkatraman sir has talked about, that we will be able to understand who the customer is very clearly. The entire health stack, once it is developed, and the people who are willing to share their information, they will get an auto underwriting, and there can be underwriting based on pricing. Finally, it's a game of pricing. So even if a person is having some health condition, if he transparently shares that with the health insurance company and also states his condition very clearly, we'll be able to design products which will be catering to his need. Just to give an example, like a person who is a diabetic or a person who is suffering with hypertension, in fact, he is more in need of health insurance than a person who is not. And what kind of health insurance he needs? He needs an health insurance which will help him to not deteriorate his condition and which will work with him. So I think the whole innovation in the product space in health insurance will be enabled by this digitization. So what will happen is we'll see that even if people, one is it will prevent the people from going into a stage where they would be requiring a care or a primary treatment. So that is what the digitization will do. The second is, unfortunately, if someone is already have contracted some health condition, it will prevent his health condition from deteriorating, because we'll be able to get his real-time analytics, the data about his health condition, what kind of lifestyle he's leading, right? So if someone is suffering with, say, a particular ailment, if he lives with a, if he lives an active life, if he manages his food and, his treatments constantly, what will happen is it will help him prevent going into the next stage, which we call it as primary, secondary, and tertiary. So this digitization is going to help that customer doing that. The third thing which will happen is that as and when he gets into any kind of need for medical intervention, the digitization will help us to direct him to a right kind of hospital, which will be able to provide him with a high quality medical treatment which is required, right? So if his health condition is known, we will know that, okay, this person is suffering with so and so condition. This is the kind of intervention will be required. This is the kind of medicines which can be enabled and which will enable him to come back to normalcy. So that kind of, to that granular level we can reach. And this is without need for getting into any kind of genetic studies or he needing to share his genetic studies. So to summarize, I think one, it will help us to enroll better, right, smart products for him, reduce the cost, because the 20, 25% or 30% is the estimated wastage which is happening in the fraud, waste and abuse can be passed on to the customer. So the digitization is going to enable that. The continuous, on a continuous basis, we can interact with the customer. Today, the devices are available. So today we have customers who have wearable devices, which gives us clear indication of what is his health condition has been during the period and what kind of intervention will be required. Supposing if someone, we say that scientifically we have proven that if someone is maintaining a healthy lifestyle for a particular number of days in a month, then he has a better health condition than a person who doesn't. So we can have an intervention where we can motivate him that, you are not gone for your daily walk, or you have not gone for your yoga routine, or you are not gone for your, you are not slept enough. So there are various studies which are happening and, a lot of innovation happening. So sleep patterns are being looked into, the heart condition is being looked into, The exercise regime is being looked into. So these are the things which are happening, and all these things are happening because we have slowly evolving an ecosystem which is being enabled by the digital analytics. So that's quick summary from my side.
CA Sanil, you have anything to add on sourcing and servicing?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, sourcing business through digitization, I think India is a highly penetrated country in terms of internet users. And there are sort of baseline expectations that have been set that, if I'm adopting a service, be it health insurance, be it my telemedicine or a healthcare, it has to be somewhat tech enabled for me to access them. And I feel that those are the businesses that are going to survive, in the coming few years. That you have to adopt technology, you have to adopt services which are tech enabled and digitally enabled. And I think that is what what our experience has been dealing with customers. That even though we might be competing with let's say a lot of players for business, but at the end of the day, because there are some levels of tech and digital adoption, we are able to give a good amount of confidence to the user and user that this will be something that will is a baseline expectation for them at the end of the day. And I think that is just going to increase going forward. That's it from my side.
That was great. Thank you so much. I think we would need more hours to listen to experts in the panel. It's unfortunate we are limited to 1.5 hours or maybe 2 hours, but I think it was excellent experience listening to the eminent panelists we have. I think I thank them for sparing their valuable time and hand over it to CA Institute.
Thank you, Sundar.
Yeah, it was very nice to hear all this discussion with you, all stalwarts of the insurance industry. And sorry if I say anything wrong as a consumer side.
No, I think it was a very useful case study.
No.
Very, very useful case study.
Yes.
So, and definitely I want to keep a physical program on insurance industry, so we can interact more, because in webinar there are some restrictions and all these things. Nobody want to come forward to ask any question because it's a recorded seminar and all these things. So I will try to, and I will try to put a physical webinar on insurance industry. So now if anybody want to any questions, they can put in question answer or chat box. It's last 1 minute I can give, or otherwise I can request to CA Vijeta Jaiswal, the coordinator, to give a well-deserved vote of thanks to all the panelists. Yeah, over to you, Vijeta.
Thank you, Pinky. Hello, everybody. It has really been an enlightening 2 hours or so, and we certainly have gained better insight and knowledge on the insurance industry. So Pinky had shared her personal thing. Just I would also like to share a personal experience which I had during COVID. I was badly affected by COVID, and unfortunately was in the ICU for more than 2 months. And we were fortunate to have a corporate plan, so which was cashless. So that was a huge blessing for us. But apart from that, we had personal mediclaim policies, but to get the benefit of the same, it was a long and tedious process, and it took more than 18 months to get the claim benefit. So 18 months to get a benefit of mediclaim, chalo, it was like, chalo, theek hai, bil gaya to achhi baat hai, aisi wali baat thi. But I think something should be done regarding that. And so coming down to the formal duty, a big thank you to our ICI WRC chairperson, CA Murtaza Kachwala, and our keynote speaker, CA Sunil Agrawal, the CFO of LIC, who in spite of his busy schedule took out some time. And of course, big thanks to our panelists, CA Sunil, Sanil Basutkar, CA Ganesh, Iyer, and CA S. Venkatraman. And of course, our last minute invite, he was very graciously accepted, CA Mahesh Radhakrishnan. And we missed CA Delzar Divasa because of ill health. Thank you to our moderator, CASV Sunderkrishnan. And of course,
Thank
we
you.
can't forget our dynamic RCM CA Pinky Kedia for conducting this session so well, with the able assistance of the WIRC back office team, especially Kapoor Madam and Sundar for coordinating with all the panelists and the virtual platform support. So to quote Jefferson Beltike, thankfulness is the quickest path to joy. So I hope we end this session with a joyful round of applause. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Thank
you
you. Good night.
and good night.